something moving underneath the silence. You can't stop it, you can't see it.
There's a spark you can't control. No face, no throne, no single soul. No crown, no king, no guarded gate. Just coded rhythm, rewriting fate. They laughed at fire when it was stone. Now whole cities glow from what was thrown. Every empire starts unseen. Every future starts a dream.
It's rising, it's breathing through the cracks in the ceiling.
You can doubt it, you can fight it,
but you won't stop the feeling. There's an invisible fire burning under the ground. You can't cage the wire, you can't shut it down. We are rising higher, no walls around. What you can't see now will shake this town.
built by hands that turn their backs. No permission, no applause, no signature from broken laws. They building towers made of glass. I'm building shadows built to last. They measure worth in what they see. I measure mine in legacy. Call it risky, call it strange. Every revolution looks that way. What they mock today is small. Tomorrow stands 10 stories tall.
It's growing, it's glowing, even when you don't know it.
It's silent,
but violent, and nothing can control it. There's an invisible fire burning through the sound. You can doubt desire, but you can't drown the ground. We are climbing higher, feet off the ground. What you can't see now will turn this world around.
I've been doubted, I've been tested. Watch belief get dissected. Watch fear spread contagious fast. But truth don't break it out last. When pressure don't erase the flame, it only teaches it to aim. And when the dark feels permanent,
that's when the spark turns permanent. There's an invisible fire burning us now. You can't pull the wire, you can't shut it down. We are rising higher, we won't bow. What you can't see now.
Alright, legends, hope you're all having a fantastic day, getting ready for the weekend. What can we expect here on the price of Bitcoin? Remember, as per the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I encourage you to do your own research. What I'm sharing here inside of these live streams is my personal approach towards the markets from an entertainment and educational perspective. So now, let's get the party on the road. Let me just click the right. Here we go. Remember to smash up that like button if you haven't done so already, because I know sometimes you forget. Okay, if you're not subscribed and it's your first time watching me here on YouTube, well, this is where I do technical analysis based on probabilities and how I approach the markets. Remember, guys, I don't always get it right, okay, but it's my risk management that keeps me in the game. And some interesting stuff happening here to the downside. And I am deciding whether I should keep the live stream short and do a private stream inside of the community, because there is a trade that I'm eyeing a trade over here, and I want to take that trade. I want to take it live. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do it here or if I'm going to do it privately inside of the community. Let's see how this unfolds. Right, legends. I know there's a lot of community members here inside of the live stream as well. Let me just have a sip of water. It's curving at the bottom. Yes, it is. I've smashed the like button, Mr. Nico. Thank you so much. Let me say hi to the community and then we can start. There's not really much to discuss today, so I'm going to do a little bit of freestyle live technical analysis, make sure that we've got the levels. Remember, always if price dumps, we need to have a plan to the downside. If price bumps, well, where am I going to short? Okay, because there's a couple of scenarios where, yes, there's always a count where the low can be in. There's a count where there's one more low. And then there's a count that absolutely just destroys the market and continues here to the downside. So we need to analyze those situations, but it's the local structures that gives me the trading opportunities. Okay. I must say, guys, I did jump into a long. Okay, the community members most probably know which scenario I jumped into the long. I was very late to the party, so I risked way less capital. I was a bit late to the party, but sometimes, like I said, if I miss a trade, I can go in with less capital so that I still lose what I want to lose for the trade. I've already taken profits. My fees are covered. And I think I'll lose like $100 or $200 with this trade. Okay. Anyways, there's a chance for a little bit of a reversal here to the upside. That's what we need to discuss. 150x long shorts need some liquidity. Yes, ways of the Jedis. Definitely something that could happen. Okay, price could form a little bit of a corrective structure and continue momentum to the downside, and that's what I want to discuss today. So stay tuned for the technical analysis so you don't miss out on anything. I'm winning a lot. Hope to get my lion's share of the WoW competition. How is that WoW competition doing, by the way? Let me go check it out. Are we still second? Are we number one? I'm too scared to look. Let's see. Oh man, we dropped to third place, but we're still in the top 3, and there's still 10 days to go. 10 days to go. Right, legends. 316, 339, 397. Yeah, getting there. We're getting there. Right, we're getting there. I feel like opening up a 100x trade with my entire account just to put us in first place. Woo. Right, but I do not do such crazy things with my Bluffin account. I do not do such crazy things, okay? Because I know, and I'm sure they've got rules built into it, because I remember with the previous competitions, people will open and close 100x positions with the entire accounts just to get the trading volume up. Okay, and that's how they cheat. And they caught them out. I know they caught some of the teams out to say that, well, you didn't really place a trade because you open and close in a couple of seconds. So you purposefully just wanted to push up trading volume to win. So I'm sure they've built some checks into the system and they've learned their lesson. So, right, guys. So that little trick is not going to work. But anyways, if you want to be part of the community, because I'm deciding whether I want to do a private live stream right after this inside of the community, send me the word access. There's my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how to join. Okay. Oh, nice music mix. Yes, I also do like it. If you are inside of the community, William, I'm not sure, because sometimes people's usernames are different than what they use in the community. But if you are inside of the community and you would like a certain playlist from me that I've played here on the live streams, I'm happy to share it. Okay, I can't share it here on YouTube. How? I can't drop a file here. Okay, morning, Devold. Hope you had a great week. Legend. Yes, I did, Mr. Wayne. 4915. I did have a great week so far. Yes, it's been a brutal week from an emotional perspective, and I think it's been a little bit bittersweet, because although I didn't lose money, I ended off this week so far profitable, but not everyone did. And I think based on the personal messages that myself and Andy received from some people, and it's not great to see, people liquidating their entire accounts, people liquidating positions, people losing a big part of their portfolios. And there's one little reason, for lack of a better word. Okay, all of these people didn't have stop losses in place. You can't be on the wrong side of the market without a stop loss, or based on probabilities, because I know, guys, I have spoken about this, okay? Based on this structure, the probabilities looked low for price to capitulate. But sometimes low probability scenarios play out. And that is why you have to have a stop loss when you trade. You can't, based on okay, there's a higher probability to at least get a larger three-wave structure than dump. Okay, but you can't base a probability that it has to go. No, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. It's just a low probability scenario played out. You always have to have a stop loss. You can't trade without a stop loss, because some of the messages that we've received, guys, and just sharing with you what I've gone through this week, is that I haven't suffered a loss. In actual fact, I've made money, but it's not about me. It's about the people that did not make money, and that, and so, some of you might be here watching the stream saying that it's been a tough week, and I really feel for you, because I've been there. Okay, sometimes the unexpected happens, and that's how the market is designed. Most of the time, I nail it. Most of the time, I nail it. Get the entry. I take the profit. I get stopped out with profits when I'm wrong. But sometimes the unexpected, the market gives you something that no one expected. And that is why your stop loss is there to protect you. Okay, so, but I also know there's some people that made a lot of money with this momentum here to the downside. So congratulations. Okay. Now let's, I just want to bring the comments back up and say hi before we get the party on the road. Is it this one? There we go. Right, it's curving at the bottom. Yeah, green volume is starting to kick in. Looks like the lows could be chopped a little bit. Maybe a nice little, as per the thumbnail, maybe, okay, we can expect a little bit of a relief rally here to the upside, but I will go through the scenarios. And, but we have to acknowledge that the momentum is still to the downside. This local price action is still making lower highs and lower lows. So the trend is your friend until the end. So it's still in your best interest, based on the trend here to the downside, to look for shorts. If you do attempt longs, you damn well have your defensive risk management in place. Okay. I'm in the community. Let's trade it here for everyone else. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I can just stay live here, because now I have to end the live stream, start it up again, create the thumbnail, put everything in place, do the countdown, read the disclaimer. So maybe I'll just stay live here. First place only had 36 people. First place only has 36 people. You're right. These must be some whales trading here. People with big accounts, 100K up accounts. To get this trading volume from 36 people, these people are serious traders. Okay, and they are trading with large accounts. So we have 741 people inside of our trading competition. So it could mean that we have a bigger pool of people trading with less capital. Less people trading with large amounts, most probably like portfolio sizes of myself, okay, if not larger, right? So they place 10% trade, and it boosts the trading volume by a couple of million. Because I can tell you guys now, when I open a trade, on average, I move about 1.5 million volume, just one trade. And if I do 2 trades a day, I move about 3 million in trading volume. Sometimes it could even be more. But on average, it's about 1 to 2 million trading volume that I move. And yeah, this is insane, right? That is insane. Late to the party, bro. It's only up 1%. It's only up 1%. Yes, it is only up 1%. You're right. And it is estimated, okay, if you go and do your research, it takes about $50 million to move the price of Bitcoin with 1%, which gets absorbed in 5 minutes. So if you do want to move the price of Bitcoin, you need 50 million Rand, and it will move it by 1%, which will get absorbed in 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, it looks like price is about to reverse. It's rounding at the bottom. Yes, yeah, I will share that in my analysis as well. Get all your disposable wealth and put it on a 6x short today and sell mid-June, and you'll make lots of money. Yeah, well, no financial advice, right? No financial advice, guys, please. I'm not sure if you're being serious, but you will never hear me say, and I also tell the community, okay, you do not tell people not to short. You do not tell people not to long. You do not tell people what to do from a trading perspective, because you need to follow your plan. Because I remember, and I'm not going to mention any names, there was someone, okay, that said, for example, don't short or don't long. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. Those are really brave words to use. It's better to talk about probabilities. It has a higher chance to move up, it has a higher chance to move down, because based on probabilities, the opposite can still happen. Okay. The market is here to humble you. Right. And just follow your plan, guys. Just follow your plan, because you might be telling someone not to short or to short, and then price reverses against you. And you're like, oh, shit, okay. It's just based on probabilities. 1 hour symmetrical triangle broke down, fake out to the upside right now. Yeah, I'm going to discuss that. Hi, Devold Love from Cape Town. Hi, South African here in the house. Please continue the live. Yeah, my access to the group has ended. Good work. Don't blame yourself for market makers, market manipulation, right? But perhaps wait today, close, which could be, it is Friday, guys. And for those of you that's been in the trading space, doesn't matter which crypto, asset, commodity, equity you trade, usually Fridays are a nice volatile day. A big move usually happens on a Friday, and then Saturdays, it just chops sideways. Saturdays is really a boring day to trade. And that's why I always tell people, especially when you're starting out, you are addicted to the charts. You have FOMO, you want to take every single trade. Take a break on Saturdays, not because it's weekend, because statistically based on data, it's the best day to step away from the charts because nothing happens. Sometimes, yes, it's based on probabilities. Most of the time, nothing happens on a Saturday. But there are those Saturdays where you get a little bit of volatility. I prefer not to trade on weekends at all, because I want to be in front of the charts from Monday to Friday fresh. Put in the effort, do the analysis, and rest on a weekend. Okay, and the community also knows this. Myself and Andy and the coaches, we are a little bit less active inside of the community on weekdays, so that we can give it our all on weekends, so that we can give it our all on weekends. Okay, I don't really like day trading Fridays, because I found price action can be a bit erroneous, yes. And it's also based on statistics from your trading journal, because Thursdays are my most profitable days according to my trading journal. Not always, most of the time. Thursdays are my most profitable days. Fridays as well. My second most profitable day is on Fridays. So according to my trading journal, I should actually be only be trading mostly on Thursdays and Fridays. Okay, Mondays are my least profitable days. Okay, that was one of KS couple of days Saturday. Okay, hey Devold, looking for the next trade in a drawdown for a long 69, liquidation 50, any chance of bouncing? Okay, let's analyze. Well, because this basically comes to the analysis. Okay, remember guys, how I analyze the market is based on current price action. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. No one knows. It's based on probabilities, and it's based for me to have my risk management in place and trade those opportunities. Okay. Hopefully I am right more times than not, because if I'm right 70% of the time, just for argument's sake, and I'm wrong 30% of the time, it still means that I'm profitable. You are going to be wrong. I am going to be wrong. Andy's going to be wrong. The best YouTube influencer trader in the world is going to be wrong. There's no one that is right 100% of the time. The market is designed in that way. That is why there's a thing called a stop loss. Okay. But as long as I'm right, most of the time, I can rope in those little profits. Okay. And protect myself against when I'm wrong. And now, first thing I want to do is I'm here on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's discuss, I think, the most relevant scenario at the moment, because it doesn't really require a massive dip to the downside, is the ABC flat. So I want to talk about this. No, not that one. That's the local one. I want to talk about the bigger one over here. ABC flat that I also spoke about yesterday. The reason I'm speaking about this scenario is because the levels are close by. It's the closest levels to the downside. Because in actual fact, I don't care what the count is. I care about the levels. That's what I care about. Okay, look at the beautiful bounce we got yesterday from the 0.9. Doesn't matter how you count the damn structure, I'm paying attention to the level. Okay, I missed that 0.9 bounce because it happened very early in the morning for me. Okay, 2 o'clock in the morning, that bounce happened. But now it's the most relevant levels that I have to the downside. But in this scenario, in a A, B, C, okay, and price is now forming a B wave to the downside, after which it can bounce and take the high again. Yes, this can still happen. Market is here to surprise us. Imagine if this happens, because once price takes the low, what is the sentiment going to be once this low is taken? We're going down to $40,000. It's going to drop. That's the sentiment. It's going to extreme fear inside of the market. And what if it doesn't drop and it turns around? That's a little bit of a mind situation over there. What happened? It's supposed to drop. Why is it climbing? Why is it climbing so aggressively? Because remember, a C wave can be very aggressive to the upside. It can do this to the upside. Doesn't have to do as choppy, slow, little, staircase to the upside. A C wave can be like a rocket to the upside or to the downside. But I can, from a psychology perspective, I love these ABC flat scenarios. Imagine price falls down here and it turns around and it takes the highs again. Here, people are going to believe 40K is on the cards, and here people are going to believe the bull market is back. Okay, the low is in. And then ka-ching, it falls back to the downside. So I love ABC flats because from a psychology perspective, it creates a lot of confusion. It stops out all the longs, it stops out all the shorts, and then the real move happens. Okay, so definitely a scenario that could still play out. From a probability perspective, it is more common, okay, when I take a time fib from the low to the high of the structure, which is basically your A wave. Most commonly, you want B to finish after the 0.382. So it's a little bit soon. Can you guys see that? Remember, guys, time is never an invalidation. It impacts probabilities. So yes, that can happen. Okay. Ideally, price still chops around in the zone after the 0.382, and then it gets the bounce to the upside. But what's most interesting to me is the levels. Okay, because price can sweep the lows, bounce, SFP opportunity, go a little bit deeper, maybe go a little bit deeper. This one is very common for a B flat. If it does go deep, the 1.382 is very common. Invalidation is the 1.618 at $45,000, 523. Okay, so I have one concern with the structure. Also, a B wave has to be a 3-wave structure. It's not allowed to be an impulse in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to count, and I'm going to get to the structure in a moment. Okay, you have to count the structure as either an A, B, C, okay, that finishes ideally after the 0.382. It needs to be counted as a 3-wave structure, not an impulse to the downside. Okay, now I've done a little bit of a summary over here. Now that I know what potentially could play out over here, basically the bearish case scenario is price drops. Okay, it invalidates the B flat. We all know that. Price can literally just tank here to the downside. And, right, like it did over here. So let's see if I take a bars pattern. Let's just see what could play out over here from this pivot, because I'm looking at that pivot over there. No, that pivot, okay? So let's take a bars pattern and see, well, what could play out based on previous price action? And you could say, well, maybe that, okay? Maybe it's getting the consolidation here and it's going to drop a little bit further. So I just want to say this can happen. That's why you have to have your stop loss in place. If you want to have smelly fingers because you're trying to catch the bottom, you better have your risk management in place. Okay, you take the knock because you don't know how aggressive it can get here to the downside. Right. It might not be an ABC flat. You know, this could be the end of the corrective structure. Like I said, this could be your ABC. It's done. Okay. And price is now forming another impulse here to the downside. And it can get really, really nasty. Yesterday, I spent quite some time showing everyone the levels to the downside that I'm keeping an eye on. Okay. If I go to the daily time frame, the closest level to where price is at the moment that I'm really interested in. Okay, and I need to use the log scale just to get the pivots properly. Because guys, you need to build, I'm just trying to build my plan to the downside. Like if price continues to fall, okay, where can it slow down? Because when price fell down here, when price did that, I was looking at that zone. I knew that that was the most important zone because you have a massive consolidation area with a high volume node. And that is where I entered the long. So if price does the same thing, where is the next area of support? Purely from a price action perspective, I can see that there's another consolidation area over there. So, okay, maybe price is going to slow down over here. Consolidation area, it most probably has a point of control, which I can go and find. It has a point of control inside of that zone. Maybe we get the same thing over there. So, and then if things get really nasty here to the downside, it slices like a hot knife through butter. Well, massive consolidation area over here. I do at least expect a bounce from this zone because that's a big consolidation area. Exactly what happened here. Okay, nice little bounce. Maybe nice little bounce back to the upside. We don't know how aggressive it's going to get to the downside. What you can do, what I like to do, okay, I can't tell people what they need to do. I like to take, BT's about to go to newer highs, right? I like to take my fixed range volume profile and then measure where is the highest amount of volume inside of these ranges. Okay, let's do another one over here. Okay, so now when I zoom into these structures, okay, you can see you got some high volume nodes, high volume. The red line is the point of control, which means inside of this entire zone, that's where the highest amount of volume was traded. So naturally, I will be looking at the high volume nodes for a bounce if price continues to drop to the downside. That one also looks interesting because these little consolidation areas that no one pays attention to often provides a bounce because no one expects a bounce in that zone. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on this little consolidation area with that little pivot. Perhaps a nice little SFP if price swings that little consolidation area. Okay, and that's basically how I build up my plan, just to show everyone. And then you can combine it with daily, weekly levels. Okay, you can go crazy. Right, point of controls, and you can see there's an open gap. This is very interesting. You can see all the levels. Okay, you guys can see it's a mess. It looks like a dirty kitchen over here. Absolute mess. But what is interesting about the levels is they forming little clusters. You can see that there is a cluster of support over here. There are daily levels, naked point of controls, weekly levels. So there is massive support inside of this zone. Okay. Which means I like that pivot, which also has confluence with this consolidation area. So that if price dips below, grabs all of the liquidity, okay, it can provide a nice little bounce back to the upside. This area is massive support. As long as price is below this area, I'm not interested in a trade. This for me is a no trading zone. There's no levels. So if price is inside of this zone, no trade. I will not trade that zone. Because this can, if price loses this support, it can accelerate to the downside until it hits this cluster of support. Basically this consolidation area. Okay, there's no price action and volume to support a bounce in this zone, so it could accelerate. So for me, this is a no trading zone. So price needs to bounce, yeah, for me to consider longs. No longs, and then I'm interested in this zone. I don't care what the price is, guys. Yeah, I'm just looking at price action, and I'm okay. That's an interesting longing opportunity. That's an interesting longing opportunity. So basically, if price drops here to the downside, sweeps the lows, okay. The first level here to the downside is a daily level at $58,000. It's basically an SFP from that low. So maybe price drops. Okay, that could be a trading opportunity, but I have to zoom into the smaller time frames to snipe, basically an SFP from that low over there. Okay, I know now it's getting a little bit more technical, because if you know SFPs, you know how to trade them. Okay, okay, there's a pivot, there's a daily level. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that level. Based on the reaction, I can enter a trade. Okay, so now let me clean up all the levels. And what I quickly want to do is just quickly jump onto the weekly time frame. Just make sure that I have my most recent levels updated. So from a weekly perspective, I want to make sure that my levels are still relevant and that I need to delete the ones that no longer serves a purpose. So you can see that this weekly level has been lost. Okay, so I can delete it. This weekly level has also, weekly point of control has been lost. Okay, I can delete it. I just want to make sure that these weekly levels are still relevant. Okay, what I like to do is the following. Okay, but it got tapped. So this one actually provided the rejection, you can see. Okay, price failed to break through, fell to the downside. So this one is also used up. So I don't need that one. And this one is most probably from this weekly candle. Let me just make sure. Do this one. Also got claimed. So that one's also not relevant anymore. So I can take those weekly levels out. Come on. Right. So that's basically fresh weekly levels that, well, not fresh. These are weekly levels that are still relevant. And then the one downstairs is at $54,854. That's the first weekly level to the downside. Then what I want to do is I want to go to the daily levels, go to the daily time frame, make sure that these levels are still relevant and that I don't have levels that should not be here. Okay, and I can already see that there are two that should not be here. That was the one where I attempted along with the community, and then this one got lost. So no daily levels here. First one is at $77,200, and then two below is at $58,000 and $57,000 more or less. Okay, so definitely some support below the lows. If price wants to chop the lows, a zone where I will be paying attention. Right. Now, 1 hour time frame. Let's look at point of controls. Are there any new point of controls? Let's see. I like to do the point of controls on the 1 hour time frame. You can use the daily time frame. There's various methods in which you can do this. Okay. So there's a point of control that has not been tapped. That one has been tapped. This one has not been tapped. So there's 2 point of controls here. Let me just switch on my point of controls. Yep. Okay. You'll see this one is a little bit off center. It's not exactly where it needs to be. And this is now an issue because if I go to the 15-minute time frame, then it is exactly where it needs to be. So what you could do is, what I sometimes do is I will put in a little box. Okay. I will put in a little box. And then I'll switch back to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, it's actually to the downside. And then I'll do that, is to say that, well, in that box can provide resistance because it jumps around a little bit between the 15-minute and 1 hour time frame. You can go crazy. You can go and look at other exchanges as well and try and figure out where's the best place to place them. Okay, it's up to you as a technical trader. So I'm going to make that red. Ka-ching. And I'm going to include that level inside of my point of control folder. Come on. I got you. I got you. Why are you not dragging? Come here all the way down. Let's go. Right, so now it's inside of the folder. So I know that that's an area of resistance if price wants to continue to the upside. Guys, sorry, I hopefully you're enjoying the education in terms of how I'm looking for levels, but this is what you need to do when you're building a trading plan. Okay, so now I can analyze this structure to the downside from an Elliott wave perspective and determine probability scenarios. Where can I look? Is that a good shorting zone? From a price action perspective, that looks like a good shorting zone if price does continue to the upside. If price falls, first level that I'll be watching is obviously a swing failure from the low. That's the first reaction I will watch, and it's based on this ABC flat scenario. Okay, 1-to-1 extension. First level was the 0.9. Second level will be the 1-to-1 extension, where price basically grabs all the liquidity to the downside, and then together with the daily, weekly naked point of controls that I've just highlighted. Okay. Now, the question on everyone's mind: what if price does not take the lows today? What if it doesn't? And it gives us a little bit of a relief rally to the upside. Okay. So let me go to the 1 hour time frame, and I actually have a little bit of a compact count over here so that it takes me less time to discuss what I'm about to share. There we go. I actually think I did this on the 4 hour time frame. Why is it not here? Yeah, here we go. Let's go back to the 1 hour. There we go. So, fear not, I'm going to explain it so it makes sense. Because some people will be like, whoa, what is that? Okay, let's first focus. These are all the scenarios that I see potentially playing out. And I've color-coded them in purple, orange, and red. Most bearish case scenario, okay, is look at the red scenario. Price has formed a 1, a 2. It's still busy with a third wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete the third wave. So there's a chance for a bounce. Can you guys see? There's a chance for a bounce. Okay. And it forms another 4 and another 5 to the downside. Most bearish case scenario. Price should not, I just want to see if I'm on the right scale over here. Why is my menu coming up here? Let's do this. Come back here. Come back. Okay, there we go. Price should not tap the invalidation. Let's do this. There we go. Now it's back into how it's supposed to look. Right, so as long as price does not tap this line, both the orange and the red scenario can still play out. Okay, because in the orange scenario, you still need an A, B, C, and inside of the C wave, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more low on the cards. Okay, for the red scenario, you want to see another 4 and a 5 and a dump to the downside. Is there a chance to count the structure as completed over here? Maybe one more chop. Maybe it does that. Maybe one more chop, and you just move. But in this zone, there is a chance for price to find its. I just need to move this FIP a little bit down because that pivot wasn't here this morning when I analyzed it. There we go. Okay, I've actually now made my my orange box a little bit bigger. My orange boxes for these scenarios used to be there between the 382 and the 50% because that is the most common fourth wave targets. But I have seen with the drop here to the downside that the fourth waves has been rejecting at the minimum target, which is a rare target by the 0.236. So I've now included it. So definitely a zone where I will be paying attention. You can see that the 0.236 has already been claimed. So price could go and form this fifth wave down here. Because it's happened. Price just at the second wave, like it's like the minimum targets keeps on getting hit and it just accelerates to the downside. Most commonly, that is where you want the fourth wave to be, but it can reject here. It doesn't have to come up here. Okay, I've just seen it in this aggressive momentum to the downside. Right. And that is basically the summary of the scenarios that I'm currently watching. I know for the eliticians out there are different ways in which you can count these structures. W can be moved there, A can be moved there. It doesn't really matter. I like the fib pools more for these scenarios, and also this leg down here, tap the 1.618 doesn't look great. Anyways guys, it doesn't matter, the end result is the same. Let me do that. Okay, in a W, X, Y, you expect a three-wave structure. Whether your W is there, whether your W is there, you still expect the damn three-wave structure. Okay. In a ABC, when I move the A over here, it's getting overextended. So when I move the A over here, the fib targets makes a little bit more sense. That's the reason I put it there. So, and also each fib target has gotten a reaction. That's what I look for. When I do Elliott wave counts and I pull the fib and I see reactions at the levels, I'm like, okay, maybe this count carries a higher probability because it's getting a reaction at each of the levels to the downside. So I sometimes use fib extension levels to see whether my count carries any weight. Right, so now these are basically, in a nutshell, all the scenarios that I'm watching here to the downside. Okay, and this analysis is done based on current price action. Now, I want to zoom into 15-minute time frame. Now we need to look at this little structure that is formed down here. And by the way, guys, I just want to quickly go back to the 4-hour time frame because I did get the question yesterday, what if price just bounces? Yes, that's either the ABC, okay, but for price to bounce here and continue a bull market to the upside is not impossible, because then there is one more bullish case scenario. Let me draw it out. Is it that one? Just more or less. Okay, you have an expanding structure. And price has basically formed a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So bullish structure. Okay, let me just make that bigger so everyone can see. And this is now the correction to the downside. An expanding structure, it's just based on theory. Okay, an expanding structure, can you guys see it expands? Never carries the highest probability, and it is advised to look at all other scenarios first before you consider a structure like this. They are extremely rare, especially the higher the time frame. I have seen them in smaller time frames. Very seldom you see them, even on the smaller time frames. But for the bulls, this scenario has a clear invalidation. This low should not be taken. So I'm not going to say, guys, this can't happen. I'm just saying very low probability based on theory. Okay, you have an impulse up in an expanding structure, very rare, sharp corrective structure, clear invalidation, should not take the low, and then you want price to form basically a 1, a 2, and now it's going to explode to the upside in a 3, 4, 5. Can it happen? And I'm going to say this again. Can it happen? Yes. Probabilities based on theory, low probability. Remember, guys, please don't twist my words and says, and when price does this and say, devil never saw it coming. I'm telling you now, it can happen. Based on theory, it has a low probability. I have personally never seen an expanding structure on Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame and up. I have. If you know about a scenario like that, let me know and we can analyze it together. Okay, I know Joan, one of our eliticians inside of our community, have shown expanding structures to me, but that's on the smaller time frames. This will be one for the history books. If this had to play out and price absolutely just reverses and pumps to the upside, this is going to be one for the history books. Okay, then at least I can say, guys, I have seen an expanding structure on the higher time frames on Bitcoin for the first time myself. Okay, anyone who says that will never learns metrics. Okay, Paz, luckily we have Deerwold. If I knew how important it was to learn how to properly count from 1 to 5 in the ABCs when I went to school, I would have paid more attention. That is classic. Classic. Remember, guys, 1 million people trading 100 equals 100 million. Yep, it does. Yes, the downtrend still takes priority. The momentum is to the downside, and that's why I say the trend is your friend until the end. This local trend to the downside is down. So respect the, there's that saying that says respect the trend. But as a trader, I am looking for this opportunity. Yes, the trend is down, but I'm looking for this opportunity. That's why I have my levels to the downside, but I can still scalp. Guys, I took longs there. I took longs in that zone. I can't remember all the trades, but I successfully longed a downtrend. You just have to know how to do it. Okay. So now I want to get back into, maybe I should save this one. And I'm going to call it history books, because this one will be one for the history books if this had to play out. Okay, and I can switch that off. So another count here just doesn't make any sense. Okay, it's either expanding or it's an ABC. Those are the two closest scenarios that could potentially play out over here, or it's basically continuation to the downside. I did do some higher time frame analysis yesterday, looking at the structure from the all-time high. I'm not going to go through that again in this stream because I know most of you have already seen it. So what I want to focus now here is on the 15-minute time frame. Let's look at this structure. And this is now the trading opportunities that I highlighted this morning inside of the community. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of the community, send me the word access on Telegram. The link is down in the description, first link. Right, so first scenario here on the local time frame is most bearish, nested 1-2s. Just keeping it simple, okay? I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure here to the downside since this high was created. So 1, 2, 1, 2, clear invalidation. Price is not allowed to take that high, and you want to see acceleration to the downside, and you want to see this mess repeat. Most bearish case scenario locally that I can find. And this is where I will be looking at those levels to the downside for swing failure pattern. Okay, to get into this long. Right, from a shorting perspective, well, it's easy, okay? If you, based on your analysis, okay, you believe that this is a guaranteed drop because some people think it's guaranteed, well, your stop loss is supposed to go there. Right, and then I want to discuss, well, what if this is an ABC? This is something that I highlighted in the community this morning. That's why I took the long. Because I know price can form a larger corrective structure, then dump. And all I'm looking to do is take advantage of this move. Okay, it doesn't have to take the high, it can be a running flat as well. It could do this and fall down. It doesn't have to take the high, so I'm just taking profits here to the upside as price continues to move up. Okay, always a bearish and a bullish case scenario, just have to manage risk. I got a little bit late into this trade, and what I want to do is I actually want to take more profits. You guys can see I got late into this trade. I've already taken profits. I still have some profits. I'm going to take a little bit more. Small position. Okay, I just want to have more profits than my stop loss so that if I get stopped out, I get stopped out with profits. So I can be wrong and still make money. Okay, you guys can see. I got in very late, but I used way less capital. Way less capital. The risk that I'm exposed to here is let me not trip over my words. Small. Okay, tiny. Guys, 1% for me is a big amount. I don't even trade with 1% on this portfolio, especially when I trade swing failure patterns. Okay, a 1% loss for me is $16,000 to $20,000, depending on which accounts I take into consideration, whatever the case might be. But for this portfolio, about $16,000. 2% risk for me is $32,000. And my stop loss is hardly ever like $3,000, $4,000, my stop losses. So you can see I'm trading with even less risk than 1% of my portfolio. Okay, especially when I get late into a trade. So as price moves up here, I'll TP myself out of the position. But now this is an interesting short. If price does continue here to the upside, this is an interesting short. Basically, price sweeps the highs. Okay. ABC flat, basically the same structure that I've discussed on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so if price continues to move up here, invalidating the double 1-2, because the only bearish case scenario that I see here is 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So the bulls needs to claim that little high. Yes, guys, price can still go up. Doesn't have to just claim the high and reject. It can form a bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-wave correction, and it can continue and create a bigger C wave to the upside. Definitely a possibility. And so for me, where price is right now, there's no trade for me based on my trading plan. Okay, unless you want to risk it. I'm just showing you what could happen over here. If you want to enter a position here, you know exactly where your stop loss needs to go, and you targeting lower levels. Okay, it's a bigger stop loss. Okay, this is a 1.842% stop loss. So I can still decide as a technical trader, okay, I'm going to take the trade, and I'm just going to use less capital. Because now that would have been nice to catch it over there with a retracement. That would have been nice. 3-wave structure up. Okay, maybe 1.382. Let's see on the smaller time. Maybe 1.382, 1.618 where it got rejected. If I count this structure, well, if I measure this structure, almost claimed the 1.618, but it basically rejected here by the 1.382. So I can see, and this is the danger about the structure, I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see a 5-wave move here to the downside. This could be a 3-wave corrective structure, and now it falls. Okay, remember there's the bullish case scenario as well. Always, guys, a good technical analyst will always look at both sides of the token. I can't just say, oh, this looks like a double 1-2 to the downside short with my whole portfolio, 50x leverage, there we go. No, because I have to consider that, well, what if this plays out? What if price forms? I just want to see if it's not been invalidated. Nope, no, still not invalidated. So price can still form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take out the high, invalidating the double 1-2. But now that could be your running flat in your wave C, where price forms an A, B, C in a running flat, and then it falls down. It's always many scenarios. This is why I'm in the long, and I'm going to take profits here at the highs again, and then I'll leave a runner if it wants to go up, because now this one, oops, let me take this out the way. And and this is how structures develop. It forms a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you know, okay, that can be a C wave because there's 5 waves. But it can form a bigger C wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that then provides a longing opportunity depending on how price corrects over here. But it would be nice if price can invalidate the multi 1-2s to the downside. Then you know that momentum to the upside now starts to carry higher probability, especially if this structure is corrective. So you just have to sit in your hands and wait. Okay. So the reason I took the long was because of the ABC flat. The reason I have a stop loss in place is because I know it can form double 1-2s to the downside. Okay. I'm going to take a fib from the high to the low. Yeah, rejected at second wave targets, definitely a possibility, but as long as your invalidation is the high, because the second wave, although this will carry lower probability if it rejects over here, a second wave can still do it, but now you have a 5-wave structure. So there's a chance it bounces. Okay, so I will be looking for a long, or just add to my position, or just leave it. Okay, because I'm already in a trade, but I do have other accounts as well on 2bit, on weeks. I need to trade my weeks account again. I did put some money into my weeks account. Right, let's see if this continues to the upside. I want to see what CBD is doing. Let's refresh this. Guys, I'm not sure if I included this in the description. Yes, there we go. If you guys want access to the CBD that I'm using and all the other tools, okay, there is CBD. Here under tools, there's CBD, there's fear and greed. And then it tells you when it will be updated. Price is still in extreme fear at the moment. There is a macro calendar which works better than the one that I used to use, because this macro calendar, I can go, I only want to see high impact news, and I only want to see the US. So I know that today at 2:30, unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls, which usually has a big impact on price action. I've seen, you know, these two do some crazy stuff. So 2:30, I know I need to be either not enter a trade or make sure that I'm defensive with the trades that I am in at the moment. So some higher impact news coming out at 2:30. There's many things in here. Breaking news that pulls it from social media. There's a calculator to trade your to calculate your risk management, position size. There's the bubbles that I like to use just to give you a little snapshot of what's going. Oof, shame. That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. But everything's red, mostly red, 44% down. Okay. Then there is the heat map, which basically shows you the overview. There is the other heat map. You got liquidation. Is it the liquidation? Oh, it's this one that shows you more. Okay, longs and short liquidations. There's a playbook that basically shows you harmonic patterns, volume, trend lines. Basically, it teaches you how to trade. Okay, so but if you guys want access to this tool, it's free. It's just, here's the link down in the description. Okay. The thing that I use the most is, you guessed it, CBD. It's the one that I use the most, and I always have it open just to see what is happening here more locally. I don't spot any bearish CBD at the moment, so there's a chance that price could continue a little bit up. Right, and you can also play around with the settings. If you just want your green and red candles, you want your color-coded candles, because I'm figuring these color candles out, okay? Basically, the neon greens over here is also aligned with high-volume green candles. So you know that there's a lot of buying pressure, whales behind that move, for example. This neon pink is selling pressure. So momentum is most likely going to continue to the downside. So very interesting to just see the volume in the candle, which candles carries the highest amount of volume. And yeah, I mean, and then you can also have your liquidity. So you can see, okay, if I, for example, go to the 15-minute time frame, I can see where the clusters of liquidity lies. So you can see just below the lows, there's a pocket of liquidity, which is basically the $60,000 low. Also the 1-to-1 extension from a B-flat perspective. So, you know, you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but I can see when liquidity gets grabbed, price gets a bounce. There was also price grabbed liquidity, it got a bounce. If price comes down here, maybe there's a bounce before it continues, and I can take advantage of those little moves. So free down in the description if you guys want to use the tool. Because everyone always asks me, Dewald, where do you get the CBD tool? Where is the script that you need to upload? Well, the script, everything is already included in this tool. It also has the lines, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see. I know the team was, I gave them some feedback. I know the team was busy working on it. Okay, it's not working now. Oh, there's also a toolbar where you can draw and put Fibonacci's and go crazy like you do on TradingView. Right, and yeah, now it's a game of patience. Now we see, well, what is going to play out. I'm already in a long, so naturally I'm looking for a short. There was some nice longs inside of this zone, guys. Very nice longs. Yesterday I spoke about this long. I'm not sure if anyone took it. Yesterday I spoke about that long. This is where I ended the live stream yesterday. This is exactly where I ended the live stream. And I said, look, keep an eye on the trend. And it broke out. This was a nice little trade. Doesn't have to take the highs. It's still a nice little risk to reward trade. Even if you took profits here at the underbelly resistance. Okay, if that was your trading setup. Anything 2 and over is great. That's usually a great place to start taking profits. Because none of the structures, it just formed lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So naturally, if I see that, okay, let's say I did take the trade. I'm like, okay, it fell down again, but there was another opportunity. I can, in hindsight, you can see them very clearly. There's another breakout. Didn't take the high, but it was a trading opportunity. There was another one. Okay, and then this morning I saw this one. Right, that's why I got into the trade a little bit late, but okay. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not going to take the high, so I need to damn well make sure that I'm going to take profits. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, maybe another lower high. Okay, so this is why I'm already aggressively taking profits, because I know that this can fall again to the downside. So can you guys see that day trading actually has nothing to do with what's going on the larger time frame? Just looking for, locally I'm looking for a trading opportunity. And I want to scratch my dollars from the market. I don't care what it does after that, after I've won my trade and I've cashed out. Very happy with what's, then I look for the next trading opportunity. So naturally, what I will be looking at is if price continues to aggressively move up, I will do this. My fib levels. From a simplicity perspective, I like to take the fib from the low to the highest point of the structure to the lowest point of the structure. And then you get your levels here to the upside. So if price continues and rejects, I can enter a short, and now I have a hedge against my long. This 1-to-1 extension does look very juicy, because that could be your A, B, C, it rejects, it falls back to the downside. So definitely I know that that's a C wave target. The 0.786 is also a C wave target, but it is rare to see a running flat. But that is where you can catch the running flat if it is a running flat. But it has to tap one of my levels before I consider the trade. This is just random. For me, there's no real trade here at the moment, unless you are speculating on the double 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and it. But now there's already a small little problem, guys. Just probabilities, never a guarantee. Okay, as long as price forms a lower high, it can fall down. So I'm just a probability trader at the end of the day. But now I can see a 5-wave move up. Ugh. You want to see a 3-wave move up. Okay, so it now gives the double 1-2s to the downside lower probability. Can it play out? Yes, but just lower probability. Okay, now you can see price just rejected at the 0.618 extension. So that's definitely an attempt, guys. You have to be sniper about this. Okay, there's a chance that price could now reject here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it does a correction and then it continues. Or maybe it chops a little bit up, but it's too late for me to enter that now. I need to not talk and do a live stream and pay attention to the chart, because then I can snipe these little levels with a tight stop loss. Price falls down, take profits to cover my fees, and if it falls down a little bit more, I can cover my stop loss, I can protect. If I'm wrong, I get stopped out with profits. Okay, this is how I like to trade. I wonder if that tapped to 0.88. 0.7. It's also 0.7 that's getting the reaction at the moment. Okay, for now I can still see highest amount of volume is in this move. This push up has less volume. So there's a chance that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it forms a corrective structure and then bounces. Let's see how this unfolds. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, now you can get crazy, guys. You can go and dance around here on the 1 minute time frame to see, well, what on earth is happening here. I don't like to do that. It's just a lot of noise. Okay, it gives you analysis paralysis. I like to at least minimum stick on the 5 minute time frame. There's less noise. Preferably 15-minute time frame. That's my favorite time frame. Okay, while we wait to see what happens over here, let me go through some comments and drink some water. Here we go. What does no one talk about? No one talks about that. Crazy. I really appreciate all the work you put into this, guys. Lovely, man. Pleasure, man. I'm not sure if that's directed at me. High probability of grabbing some local short liquidity. Yes. Guys, running flats can happen, but they are rare. Okay. So in a running flat, what a running flat basically means is that only one leg claims the liquidity. So you have a A, you have a B that claimed the liquidity, but your C is short-lived. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it falls down again. Okay, and then you have a running flat. Most common in a normal flat, A, B, C. That's what you see. They play out very, very, very often. 1 minute time frame, 5 minute, daily, weekly. You see them everywhere. It claims the lows, it claims the highs, and then it falls ka-ching to the downside. They are the most common. Running flat, not so common, and running flats are also considered very difficult to trade, because I remember a running flat that left me behind out of a nice little trade. This was a running flat. Do you guys remember this one? I might have to go to the 4-hour time frame. This was a running flat that left me behind. A, B, C that did not take the high, and then just I was waiting for that one. I was ready for that short. I wanted price to pierce the level, find resistance, and reject, because there was a 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I need to show you guys a little bit zoomed out. Okay, I remember the structure now. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-wave move to the upside. Then we saw the move up. It was too short from a timing perspective. I remember the analysis now. When you take a time fib from the, okay, I told everyone I want the high to be made or the correction to finish after the 0.382. So I did not short over there. Price fell down. And I said, guys, it doesn't make sense for price to capitulate here to the downside from a timing perspective. And then it did go up, but it formed a running flat. So the correction ended after the 0.618. And they are not easy to trade, but they do happen. So yeah, that move. Sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't. Okay, running flats are not easy. They are notoriously difficult to trade. Unless you have your levels ready. Unless you have your levels ready before it takes the high. But you need to be sniper. Okay, let me put the comments back up here. How to trade it really tight, good entries with tight stop losses and move your stop loss into profits as soon as you get a move in your direction. Yeah, Jabez, that's how I trade. And depending on how where I entered, sometimes I won't move my stop loss into profits because I don't want to get stopped out of the position and then price leaves without me. This is what happened this morning, ironically. Okay, in this trade, if I go to the 5 5-minute time frame. Okay, I entered very late, but I went in with less capital, but I knew the probability of moving up there's a good chance, and I saw some bullish CVD as well. Okay, is that I entered over here. Now I didn't want to move, okay, and then price, because, okay, no, I'm just trying to go back in terms of what happened. I think I entered, when I'm trying to figure out when did I enter, okay. I think I entered there, and then I had my stop loss below the low. Price came back. It would have stopped me out if I had a tight stop loss, okay, and then moved back up. So I don't want to be that person that enters over here, have a tight stop loss, gets stopped out, and then price leaves without me. Now it makes sense for me to have my stop loss below this low. Now it makes sense for me to do that. Right, what do you think of the descending triangle forming on the 1 hour chart? Descending triangle. Do you fit any Elliott wave scenarios counts that perhaps coincide with it? Yeah, that could be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Descending triangle is a bullish pennant, isn't it? Because I'm not too fond of patterns, but what I do like is trends. And if the trend gives me a pattern, great. But this is what I'm looking at the moment. So I have my trends above, those two pivots, and now I'm tracking this one to the downside. What I have seen, what was interesting for me about this trend here to the downside. Okay. Let me just take these two out so that I don't cause confusion. Right. When this trend started chopping, can you guys see it started chopping above? Chopping. Okay. Remember what I've said previously in some of my live streams with the D-line strategy. When price struggles to break out of a trend, it often likes to claim the low, and then you get the true breakout to the upside. So price is chopping this trend, which shows me that it might want to reverse. It has already claimed the low. This is also part of the reason I jumped into that long, because I was just like chopping, and then you take the low, and now you're breaking out. That looks interesting. Okay, so now price needs to remain above. You could also readjust your trend, and this is why I had these little flaggies. Okay. Because I'm just like, this is now becoming a mess. How can I now spot a better breakout? Because it's becoming a mess. It's chopping through the trend. And this is why I had these two. To say, okay, now this looks interesting. It failed to break down. It got acceptance back inside. So if it breaks out above, now that could get continuation to the upside. Purely from a pattern perspective. Okay, but you have lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Ironically, that's also where I'm looking for the short. Okay, we'll see how price reacts if it does get there. Okay, but if you are inside of the community, you can always share your analysis with me from a picture perspective. Okay, and just tag me and I'll give you some feedback, or there's loads of community members with lots of experience that can also help you out if you want some feedback on your analysis. Okay, keep stop loss set, just take profits, cover fees. Not financial advice. Yes, not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you how I trade. Okay. I learned a lot from the way Devil protects his capital. Thank you. And I think that's the most important thing I want people to know. Nothing, not Elliott wave theory, not support, not resistance, not technical analysis. The most important thing that makes my heart happy is managing your capital, managing your risk, protecting your capital, because the market is designed to take it from you. You need to out-trade the market. And the only way you're going to do that is if you protect your capital. Because otherwise they're going to take it. There's no religion, there's no God, there's nothing that's going to save you from a bad trade. I'm telling you now. You can pray as hard as you want. You can enter the worst trade of your life, go to bed and pray to whoever you believe in. I'm telling you now, you're going to get liquidated. The market, the gods, the I don't know who you, the spiritual bodies, the unit, they don't care about the money that you're losing. You need to protect your capital. And I feel very strongly about it. And I don't care from which religious background or spiritual background or atheist background you are from. If you do not protect your capital, no one is going to save you from that. How do I get into the community? JBez7876 send me the word access on Telegram. Yes, my Telegram. So you can click on this link, type the word access and send it to me, and then I'll send you the instructions on how to join the community. There's a couple of instructions. You will be interacting with a bot or AI because I can't get to all the messages, but there are humans behind the scene as well, that if the bot gets confused or you ask a question that the bot doesn't know how to answer, my team will jump in and help you, if not myself, because I also keep an eye on that Telegram channel. Okay, I always have it open here on the side on the screen. Okay, but basically, if you want access, DM me the word access and I'll send you the instructions so you know how you can get and partake inside of the community. There are various ways to get in. I need to smash off my like button. No berry CBD just as yet, which is great for the bulls. Okay, because every damn bounce here to the upside with this downtrend has had berry CBD, berry CBD, berry CBD. Now it looks like, okay, maybe people are getting tired of longing. Maybe people have that's usually where the market reverses. The smelly fingers, you've tried every bloody wrong at every bloody bounce, you get stopped out. And then when you give up, you're like, no, I'm not longing this anymore. Maybe I should start looking for shorts rather. When you decide you're going to start looking for shorts, that's where the market reverses. And I can spot it here on CVD. When is everyone going to get tired of longing? Every single drop. Okay, it looks like people are getting tired of longing at the moment. So maybe it's going to bounce a little bit here. Let me refresh this. What happened? Doesn't want to refresh proper. Oh wait, it went somewhere else. Here we go. Still third. Anyways, and if you guys want the free tool, there's the link. This CVD that I'm using, market cap. It has all of these tools: analytics, liquidation heat map, historical risk levels, terminal price, drawdown from all-time high. Guys, I haven't even looked at all of these things, and I know there's some amazing things in here. The one that I use the most is CVD, Fear and Greed. I look at Fear and Greed every day because one of my investment rules is when Fear and Greed gets below 10, I start deploying some spot capital. It's not at 10 just as yet. Okay, so I'm not deploying. When it gets below 10, then I know people are really, really scared and no one wants to buy, and that's usually when I buy a little bit. Like the 60k low, where price is almost now. Okay, that's where I bought, but at least I bought the low. I didn't buy the high of the structure when everyone gets greedy, and I missed it. Also the macro calendar. I look at the macro calendar every day. Really great tool. High impact. This is the only one that I really use. I always put it on high impact. Okay. And I only look at US because I've noticed out of all the countries out here, the US one on high impact is the one that moves the price. Usually. Okay. So I only use these ones. And then it will, this is my time zone, by the way. So 4:30 this afternoon, we have unemployment rates and non-farm payrolls. Next week, we have existing home loan sales. Ooh, Wednesday is going to be a big day. Next week, Wednesday is going to be a big day, guys. Inflation data. Okay. Pray to Trump. Guys, please, I do not mean to offend anyone from a religious perspective. Please, guys, don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. And I'm talking from experience, whether you believe in Jesus, Muhammad, Ali, I don't even know all the gods out there, okay? I can tell you now, if you enter a bad trade and you're underwater, you can pray as hard as you want. It's not going to save you, okay? If you entered along over here, no one is going to save you from this drop. You are going to get liquidated. That's it. End of story. Okay. You need to take account. And I think that's the one thing about trading that I really enjoy. It is agnostic of religion. It's agnostic of belief. You have to master the game in order to win at this. No one else. You cannot blame your God. You cannot blame a religion. You cannot blame anyone. There's no one to blame if you are in a losing trade and you're holding on to it, but yourself. And I think that that's been a very key lesson for a lot of people this week from the messages that I've received. Doesn't matter how hard you prayed, your account is gone. Okay. And you need to take, and I think, and it teaches you that you need to take accountability and responsibility for what you do inside of the market. No one is going to save you from it. No religion, no God, nothing is going to save you from a bad trading decision, but you're the only one that can save you from that. Unfortunately, that is how the market, I love the way that the market is designed because it doesn't care about anything. But it's how you approach the markets. Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's my little philosophical insight for today. Okay. I pray to smoking socks. I'm not talking out of my ears. Mr. Mark Dutch, welcome to the live stream, man. Always here with a humor. Yeah, I started getting angry at the market today, and I just thought I have to own this, and I stuffed up. You know, and that's a great step when you can say, I stuffed up. Sorry, guys, I'm going to say it. I fucked up. Yesterday's loss or this week's loss that I took, I have no one to blame but myself. I cannot blame Diewold, I cannot blame Andy, I cannot blame my God, I cannot blame my religion, I cannot blame my relationship, I cannot blame my dog, I can only blame, I am the one that used this little finger to click the mouse. Me. Okay, you might be right, Shihan. Okay, reversal will be next weekly candle. Target value area low. Right, Portugal. Hey, Mr. A Trader here in the house as well. I think I did see you earlier on. Sounds like you, Mr. Dutchy. Yes, it does. Yes, much love for Portugal being... I would actually love for Portugal to win the World Cup this year, I must say. I would love for Portugal to win. Let's see if it's going to happen this year. Thank you, sir. I've just met you yesterday. Absolute pleasure. I remember those days, how hardly I prayed and don't trade anymore without a stop loss. Yeah, I mean, Mr. 939, you know as well as me, okay? It doesn't matter who you pray to. If you're underwater, you're underwater. You're not gonna, you pray, and price is just gonna reverse. No. It doesn't happen that way. Okay. Maybe you get lucky a couple of times and then you think you got saved. Market will humble you if you keep on taking chances. Can we assume the others on the community CVD chart is the BlackRock ETF buying? The others. Let's go check that out. It could be because the other... I don't have others, I think, anymore. Maybe that's on the other CVD. The team is building me another line. Guys, these are not lines. Okay, and it gets confusing when you keep an eye on all of them. So the team is building a line that is a combination of all exchanges combined. I want to see that line as well because it was on the previous tool. It's not on this tool. But the most important ones is Bybit, that one. Because that one is very accurate. When that thing shows bearish, price drops. When that thing shows bullish, price usually climbs. Okay, not always. It's not 100%, but it's very accurate, this little yellow one. And I'm sure a lot of people that's been using CVD for long, they know that this yellow line is powerful. But the one that I never had, that I always wanted to see is that, why is it only Bybit? If Binance is the biggest exchange with the highest amount of volume in the world, I want to see Binance as well. So the team included Binance for me and Andy. So you have the USDT and you have the USD. So these two lines are the ones that I always keep an eye on. And then together with the others that combines all the exchanges, then I'll have my 3 lines. And I think those 3, very, very powerful combination. Right, if you guys take a trade without an SL and the internet goes... Imagine. Oh, that could be one of the best lessons, to set the SL before you put the money on the table. That's actually a great one, because I usually enter like 90% of the time. I usually enter the trade without my stop loss and then I quickly put it in. But I can just imagine if the power goes out and I didn't put the SL in place. I think what I would most probably do is jump onto my phone and just put that SL in, or just close the position. But yeah, that's luckily never happened to me, because usually when I enter, I'm fast, guys. I'm really fast, For example, if I had to enter this short over here, so let's say I'm just going to use 1%, a small amount over here, okay? Let's say I enter a short over here, okay? This is usually what I do. I enter the short, I go here, and I drag my stop loss. So you're saying between those 2 moments is when the power goes out. Okay, that's usually what I do. Ooh, I almost thought I closed the long position as well. Okay, anyways. I think this price action has a chance to claim that low. So actually, I'm going to keep that trade open just for fun and giggle. Just for fun, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this short open. I'm going to put the stop loss above that high. There's a small little scalp, because I think, if this is... Guys, I'm just doing this for fun. Please, guys, no financial advice. Okay? If this is your... Whoops, where's my pen? Where's the pen? Yeah. If this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, price could correct and then bounce. And usually, most often, price takes that little pivot. So that will naturally be my TP for this trade. So just doing it for fun. Let's see how this plays out. Yeah, it gets quite messy when you enter shorts and longs. Okay, but at least I know what's going on here. Right. Just want to switch the trends off here. Something else that I wanted to quickly check is on the 15-minute time frame. Is price sticking inside of the value area low? Yeah, as if it can hold, So a little bit of a fake out would be nice, so I can at least make profits from the short. Okay, Maybe I should pray. Maybe I should pray, and then price will get here, guys. Sorry, I'm really not trying to make fun of it. It was just the point that I was trying to drive across, is that, you know, the accountability and the responsibility from a risk management perspective lies solely within your fingers and your mind. Okay, so a nice little liquidity grab would be nice, and then, you know, continue to the continuation to the upside. So let's see how this plays out. Right, let's bring the comments back up. I'm just having a little chatty section with everyone here because I don't know what else to talk about. You know, I've done the analysis. Okay, Devil, what's your total 3 targets? Total 3? What do you mean? What's my total 3 targets? Not sure what you mean, Biggie. I don't know what you mean by total 3 targets. Total 3, the chart that, you know. Don't know. I don't have to analyze total 3, total 1. I don't have to analyze those charts to take a trade on Bitcoin. I used to. I analyzed all of them. S&P 500, NASDAQ, total 1, total 2, total 3, USDT dominance. I used to analyze all of them just to take a trade on Bitcoin. And then a very successful trader once told me, "What on earth are you doing?" Because I showed him how I trade. And he was like, "Why are you analyzing 6 charts to take one trade on the chart in front of you? I don't understand. Why are you doing that?" And I explained to him, "No, but this one shows you what Bitcoin could do, and this one shows you whether it's bullish or bearish." And then he's just like, "Yo, you make a lot of work for yourself." And he told me, "Just trade the chart in front of you. The chart in front of you has resistance." Agree? Yeah, it has. It has support. Yeah, it has. You can count the waves. Yes, I can. You can see the SFP levels. Yes, I can. He's like, trade the chart in front of you. So actually, way less work, way less work, and I still make money. Okay, Eskom load shedding can be faster. Luckily, okay, I do have my entire system here, my camera, my mic, all my screens, my lights, basically my entire computer setup here is linked to an inverter that can last 48 hours without power. So if anything does happen, even my Wi-Fi is connected to an inverter. So, you know, that's also because I stay in South Africa. If you are from South Africa, you know what load shedding is. We used to go through a phase where there was a lot of load shedding and power just goes on and off the whole time. So I got myself an inverter that lasts 48 hours. That can run my computer, some basic lights and stuff inside the house. So luckily, if something happens and the power goes out, I will still be here on YouTube talking to you guys because it can sustain me for 48 hours. Depending on how much load I pull. I think if I have to most probably get a power outage with everything I've got running here, maybe 30 hours. Because I've got the lights here as well, the mic, the camera, everything uses a little bit more power. This descending triangle vibes is stopping me from longing. This descending, stopping me from longing. The move from that will take us below. Sorry guys, I'm not sure which descending triangle you guys are talking about. Is it on the higher time frame? Is it maybe a daily one? Is it a 8-hour one? Maybe someone in the community can share it with me so I can see what you guys are talking about. Okay, is it this one maybe? Are you guys watching? Oh, this one already broke out. Maybe logarithmic. I don't know which one you guys are referring to. Okay, I know that I've seen this one. I've seen this one. Bull flag. Broke down. And now we're getting continuation to the downside. I've seen this one. Yeah, I don't really trade these patterns, although I know they play out, okay, especially in a downtrend, your little bear flaggies. They do play out. But the reason I don't specifically trade them is because I knew that with high probability, this is going to form a three-wave structure and fall down. Because all the bullish counts inside here didn't look great. The same with this one. Remember, guys, if for those of you that's been following me for a while, okay, it was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contracting diagonal, low probability for price. And then I said when price came down here, well, if this is a wave 1 and this is a 2, you need to see acceleration to the upside to go and form a third, 3 and 4 and 5. Didn't happen because diagonals carry low probability. It is a bullish structure, but it's a low probability, especially on the higher time frames. And then we started talking about, okay, well, now this one got invalidated. Okay, we didn't get follow through. We basically didn't get follow through to the upside. What else can this be? Because price started correcting. What else can this be? Okay, maybe it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it's going to go up. This one, larger than this one, doesn't look great, not invalidated, doesn't look great from a structural perspective. And then also you still sit with the same issue. You still have a 1 and a 2 in a diagonal, low probability. Do you guys remember this one? Okay. There was also a diagonal in here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction. Where's the follow through? Diagonal, low probability. So sometimes, most often, the high probability and low probability scenarios do play out. This is how I stay profitable as a trader, because most often the high probability scenarios play out. Sometimes the low probability scenario plays out, and then we get this. It was a low probable scenario for me, and I'm not going to dance around the fact that I never said it was a high probability. I said it's a low probability scenario, but sometimes the low probability scenarios plays out, and that's what catches you off guard. Now price is where it is. Based on that structure, I struggled to analyze a scenario where price just tanks to the downside. And sometimes it is what it is. But I had my stop losses in place. Well, I didn't actually take any longs there, okay? I did attempt a long there together with the community at the 0.618, but you know, guys, it's just, I had my risk management in place because I know sometimes the unexpected happens. Just having some fun here with the community today. So I know it's very chatty inside of the live stream today. I'm just having some fun with everyone. I wanted to do a private live stream, but now, yeah, I am. Okay, took a little scalp here from a shorting perspective. Let's see if I'm gonna get stopped out. It will be $1,000 knock for me, which is fine. I'm happy. You know, guys, when I enter a trade, I've already made peace with the fact that I'm gonna lose it. That is how I've trained myself to make sure that I don't enter with more capital that I want to lose. When I enter a trade, I've made peace with the stop loss. Finish in class. So if I get stopped out, I've already made peace with it. I'm not now going to get upset. Devil, can you take the whole range from March? See rejection from point of contact value area stands 50. The whole range from March. You basically mean this range, because I like to take the whole range from here. So this is the range that I like to look at. And then, okay, if you want me to look at it from March, you're basically looking at this range. Now, point of control got lost. So, okay, I see what you're trying to do over here. You're basically looking at this as two separate structures. So you're basically doing this. You're saying, okay, that is a structure. And that is a separate structure. Yes. Okay, so I understand why you're doing the ranges like that. That makes sense. I like to look at the entire range, because then I can also see all the volume inside of the range. It's nothing wrong or right with how you do it or how I do it. The reason I like to do it like this, for example, is because now I can see all the high volume nodes. Okay, I can see there's a high volume node. That's basically where price got the rejection and it fell. Okay, I was hoping that this area was going to provide support. Look at the beautiful support there. It literally got a small little consolidation. Can you guys see this? If I use a line, maybe if I use a line and make it a little bit thicker, let's make it white. Okay, got a small little reaction. I can't remember if I took this long. I must go check my journal and update my trades. And it just fell through. Then next area of interest was the point of control. Small reaction and it fell through. I actually took this trade. I remember I took this trade over here. Yeah, this one. This trade I made almost $9,000. That one. Ka-ching, enter, take profits as soon as you start hitting resistance. I was hoping for a little bit of a larger bounce. I didn't get it, got stopped out. Okay, and then during all of this mess, I was sleeping. But yeah. And you know, this is bearish. Price is below the value area low. But you can have deviations, guys. Remember, you can have deviations. Okay, purely from a range trading perspective. You want to short the tops and long the bottoms of the range. And then sometimes you get the deviations. So, if price gets a deviation over here and it gets back into the range, that is where range traders will long with a stop loss below the low, and they will target the top of the range again, because this correction can continue sideways. And I think this is the most boring case scenario that very few people talk about, is the fact that you've lost the bear flag, price is going down to $40,000. What if it doesn't happen? What if price forms, because no one can predict the future, what if price does this? It forms a sideways corrective structure, a WXY that bores the shit out of everyone, and it's just boring as hell, because this thing can really extend. Y doesn't have to claim the high of W, because X is quite deep. Okay, it's already created the flat. But now this would be frustrating to most people. Extremely frustrating. What if this happens? Because this is a common corrective structure. 3-wave structure in a W, okay, 3-wave structure in a X, and now price forms a triangle, for example. But you can see it can still go sideways, and the range continues. Yeah, I mean, this one is just going to bore the crap out of everyone. But for me, whoa, I love to trade range. Guys, I've had many trades inside of this. Whoa, beautiful trades inside of this zone. Beautiful short from the high. Yes, I cashed out too soon. Is what it is. Still made nice little money. But I need to go and update my positions according to my journal. Where are my positions? Because I try and keep update all my positions here, and you guys can see when I zoom in, it doesn't look like a lot, but when I zoom in, these are all the trades that I've taken since this range formed. There was a long, successful short, successful long, successful short. Just want to see if they're not trades within the trades. Long. Oh, this was a beautiful long, guys. I was livid with myself when I closed the position here, because I knew, the harmonic pattern, if you guys remember, where I analyzed. I think Osrin was still the one that highlighted it. Yeah. Okay. You have your bat pattern. Do you guys remember? Oh, no, not the bat, the Gartley pattern. There's your Gartley. 786. I was waiting for that long, and when I got in, I went in quite heavy. Okay, and then you have your profit taking areas. I took profits on the way up, and there I closed the position by mistake, knowing that it can still claim those two pivots. So I wanted to leave a runner. Anyways, it was still money at the end of the day. Okay, long, short didn't play out, long played out, long played out. There was a short. Okay, I'll just discuss that. Stopped out, played out. There was a lot of successful trades inside of this range. Stopped out, smaller. You guys can see I also take trades within bigger trades. Okay, little scalps, stopped out, didn't play out, stopped out, stopped out. So you can see there's been stoppages along the way, but the wins has been way bigger because with a lot of these stoppages, I got stopped out with profits. Played out, played out, played out. Oh, and that was the big short that I closed here in this zone. Okay, stopped out with profits. I remember this one. Anyways, and now I need to go and update what I did here in this structure because I now took this long. I took the short, so I will go and update this. Remember, guys, when I enter these trades and the analysis in the mornings as well, things that people don't get to see here on YouTube, when Andy shares analysis, when I share analysis, because remember, structures changes during the day. Sometimes I'll look at an ABC flat in the morning, and then later in the afternoon it turns into a WXY, and we're like, okay, this is actually more bullish than what we thought, or it's less bullish than what we thought, and then I change my trading plan. That information gets shared inside of the community. Okay, I can't be live here for 8 hours a day on YouTube, right? I need to be a dad, I need to make food, I need to clean my house, I need to work in my garden, I need to exercise. By the way, I need to go and exercise. I want to go to the gym today. Need to drop my daughter at school, pick her up, do homework together. So, you know, if I was a bachelor like Matt, I see, you know, Matt does very long live streams. I just don't have the time to do it. I just don't. I have too many things that I need to do during the day. I wish I could do 6-hour live streams every day, but I can't. I just don't have the time. At least we have some great trading times here in SA. Yes, we do. We do. Okay, that's most likely a 1-2 setup to the downside like that. Would be W like bearish, haha. Your short doing good? No, my short's still shorting. How to join your group? If you want to join our group, you can send me the word access to my Telegram. There's my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how to join the community. If you do not know, because you will be met by a bot that will send you the instructions, that's why you have to send the word access. But I am inside of that group as well, and if I see people get lost, okay, I do help and jump in and help out and talk to people. People send me lots of messages as well. Now I'm not going to go into the detail of what people send me. Maybe, you know, when I do maybe another private live stream inside of the community, because I do private live streams inside of the community as well, I want to tell the community some of the messages that I have received over the years. I think some people will be gobsmacked about some of the messages myself and Andy receive. I'm not going to go into detail in the live stream. This is public. I don't want to get banned and from a compliance perspective and not following the rules, and so I will do that in a private live stream where I'll share with everyone some of the messages that people have sent me, some of the stalkers. Yeah, we've been through some crazy times. Okay. I love gardening. Me too. It's also for me, you know, gardening is like a form of meditation, just connecting with nature, mowing the lawn. It's also, there's immediate satisfaction in it for me. You have long grass, and then half an hour later you have short grass, and it looks beautiful. And then you wet it, and you put your compost, talk to the trees, however you want to roll, okay? Hug a tree, walk barefoot. Yeah, I love to connect with nature. Devilled in bear market BTC hits 786 from previous bear market low to, do you have any targets that takes price there 40k? Let's go check that out. I think I might have to use a little fresh chart that has more history. Let's look at Coinbase. Will Coinbase have it, or was it this one? Not Bybit. Is it this one? Yeah, the index. Let's look at the index and go to the weekly time frame and see what's cooking here. I might have to go, let's first try log scale, because that's where I like to do higher time frame analysis. And then we can look at some of the, remember I made a video about these two lines. Oh guys, before I delete those two lines, if you haven't seen, the reason I have those two lines there, I made a little educational video. I'm not sure if the team shared it in public already, is that when you go to regular scale, okay, how do you analyze that? You can't analyze that. The price here went, I think, from $1 to $1,000. Now, you can't analyze this on the regular scale. It just looks like a beep, and then it gets a heartbeat. It looks like nothing. But then when you go to, and this is why I like the logarithmic on higher time frames, because now it caters for the percentage moves. And you can see between those two lines, price went from $2 to $1,000. And I can see, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the waves. I can see support. I can analyze the structure way better on the logarithmic scale on the higher time frames. But by the way, let me take that out just from an education perspective. I'm just going to ignore, maybe. Let's see. Because now I have to use log scales. I don't know where price started here, but this is what we've got, okay? 0.236 is where bull market, bear market, continuation. 0.236, rare target, but I mean it was still fresh. It was still very manipulated, and I mean, you know, buying a small amount can move the price instantly. Then here, yeah, guys, you might, maybe people analyze this on the regular scale, because the 236 got smacked every time. Go there, the 382 got smacked. So now it goes a little bit deeper. Bull market, bear market, continuation. Okay. Yeah, also 0.382. It went a little bit deeper, but did not tap the 0.5. Now, where are we now? From the low to the high. Okay, 0.382, still a possibility. Maybe this time it's going to smack the 0.5, because you can see each bull market goes a little bit deeper if I use this method. Okay, first bull markets only smacked this level and bounced. Okay, basically it bounced there, ka-ching, and the next bull market started. The next couple of bull markets at least tapped the 0.382, and then now the previous bull market almost hit the 50%. So maybe this one is going to smack 50%, $44,000, and then get the bounce. And then with the next one, I would expect a little bit deeper. Maybe you go to the 618. Okay, then obviously the prices are going to be different by then. So basically just using this method. But what I like about this FIP pool from the low to the high is that look at the support at the 0.382. So if you want to keep things really simple, ignore the daily levels, the weekly levels, the point of controls, like what on earth is Devil talking about? Just take a FIP from the low to the high. Well, now this area looks very interesting for a long. I can see with my little eyes, okay, that there's a consolidation area that can provide support. So if price dips below, gets acceptance back above, okay, slows down. It slows down. Let me try and explain it easier. It slows down. Definitely a longing opportunity. Price breaks out and it can continue back to the upside. If it gets really nasty, oh, look at that. Consolidation area at the 0.5. The 0.618 is at the range low. So you have to push up with high volume. I can see you have to push up with high volume and then price chops. So that is the range low, which basically means if price gets there and it gets really ugly to the downside, let's see if price gets to $34,000. I want to see a sweep, okay, into this zone. And it needs to bounce. And when it bounces, that's where my stop loss will go, not below the low, because range high strategy or range low strategy says it's not allowed to tap the level. So I know which rules to implement based on how I'm trading it here. My stop loss will literally be at the 0.618 because it's not allowed to tap that level again. If it does tap that level again, it means it's going to fill, sorry, not that bad, okay? It's going to fill the inefficiency. And then you're basically looking at the next level here at the 0.786. So if it does not bounce successfully and move up, it should not tap that level again. That's based on the rules of the strategy. As long as it does not tap the level again, it can continue. But if it does, it increases the probabilities of filling the inefficiency. And that's why I will take the stop loss there, because then I know the probabilities of moving lower is going to play out. And I'm literally just treating the structure that like I would a 15-minute or a 1-hour structure. I apply the same rules. Anyways, it is very interesting. But I think the first closest level to pay attention to is the 0.382. $56,000, 623. Now that number sounds very familiar. $56,000, 600. Let's see. 56. I saw that level here somewhere in one of my scenarios. Not that one. Where did I see that level? Guys, I've been drawing so much that I've lost my folders here, so please bear with me. Anyways, I've lost it. Maybe I remembered incorrectly. When I was discussing the levels to the downside in the beginning of the live stream, I saw that $56,000 zone. I was like, ooh, that looks very interesting. I think it's when I did the daily levels and stuff. When I did this. Yeah, 56, it's this zone, yeah, it is this, basically it's an interesting zone to look for longs, because even if I use this method where I have all my levels marked out, okay, you can see that $56,000 zone, which is just below this cluster of support. So price could chop, grab all of the liquidity and get the bounce. Often what I've seen is when you have a zone, a support zone, price pierces it, grabs the liquidity below and then bounces. It loves to do that. So what you could say, theoretically, this is what I see happen often. Okay, that is your support. Let's make it green. So I can take all the levels out. Okay, take all the levels out. Now I know that that zone is great support. So what I have seen often is when you have resistance and support boxes drawn out, price loves to either tap the top and it bounces, but what it most often likes to do is it pierces all of the support. It grabs the liquidity below and then it bounces. That I have seen on the smaller time frames happen all the time. It looks like it's losing it and then it doesn't. Okay, one could even argue it happened over here. You have support. You have this support. Okay. And then price said, no, I'm going to go, but I'm still going to find support. Okay. So it does that, basically, in a nutshell. One thing I did not check out is I want to leave that box there. Let's go to the 12-hour. I want to just look at my support and resistances and see if that aligns. Yeah, it's basically these two boxes, between these two boxes. It's basically that. So it's between the lows of this structure and above that consolidation area. It's also where you have that 0.382. So very interesting zone for a long. For the moment, volume is still decreasing. For the moment, that could change, but for the moment, price is dropping with decreasing volume. And as long as volume stays below this low, below this volume, and let's say it drops, but it still has lower volume, it increases the probabilities that it's going to turn around. It has to increase for it to get continuation from a probability perspective. Sorry guys, I got a little bit lost in that in that technical moment. Okay. The longest time Deerwold has been... Oh, really? Oh, it's 2 hours. Shit, guys. I didn't even realize it's been 2 hours already. Okay, I know I need to go to gym. I want to go and have my shake and or prepare my shake and go to gym. The only way to enter next bull cycle is to eliminate MicroStrategy. Yeah, I mean, he's been the most bullish person in the crypto space, specifically from a Bitcoin perspective. Deerwold, are you scalping? Do you remember? Oh, Deerwold, you are scalping. Do you remember? Yes. Guys, I have my stop losses in place, okay? I have my stop losses in place, and I have my plan in place. So for the short, I have my TP at the lows. Okay. For the long, I want a... I want a corrective structure and continuation. I've already taken profits for the long, so if I do get stopped out, I'll get stopped out with profits. And yes, but I do remember that I am scalping, but I have my stop losses and my TPs are set. Okay. So if I didn't have my stop losses and TP set, then this screen would be open all the time. Okay. Right, but I can relax because I have my stuff in place. Thank you, Deerwold, for the education. It's great to get back online and right into the lessons suitable for newbies. Absolute pleasure, man. Yeah, no, I know, guys. Sometimes with Elliott wave theory, it gets very overwhelming. What is a WXY triangle ABCDE? Okay, I know it gets confusing. And I do try and keep it simple as best as I possibly can. It seems that you love sparkling water. Yes, I love sparkling water, especially with, what do they call that salt? Celtic salt or pink Himalayan salt. And a freshly squeezed whole lemon. So I first carbonate the water. I make it myself. I have a carbonation machine with reverse osmosis water. And then I add minerals. And then I add salt, and then I add a freshly squeezed lemon. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And I have about 3, 4, 5, 6 of them every day before they get warm. I can't find any instance where daily RSI was at these levels that didn't result in a 50 to 20% bounce. That is interesting. I also saw RSI. I'm not sure if you are you talking about the daily RSI? Let's go look at that. Okay, let's clean up the chart and let's just go and focus a little bit on RSI. I want to just take these boxes out the way. There we go. So yes, guys, I do have RSI in my chart. I just don't use them to trade with. So you're not referring to stochastic RSI, you're referring to the normal one, yellow. So let's focus on the yellow RSI, okay? So basically, you're focusing on this, on the daily time frame. You look at these little pivots. Okay, and I can mark them out. I'm not sure if it's going to save it. I've never done it this way. But when you have these pivots that almost touches the bottom or that goes below the bottom, like that. Ooh, maybe I need to make that one red. Okay, when it does, whenever it gets below the bottom, let's go and mark them out. Guys, this is the fun thing about technical analysis. Okay, when last have you seen this? And now again, when last have you seen that? And then you go back and you see, okay, ooh, there was 2 over here. I am red. So let's highlight these 2 as well. Now, what I want to see now is, can I go back to my chart? Which button do I press? This one. Here we go. Okay, now I have them marked out. So, the first time that I have here on the Binance chart that this happened is price actually came from down here, if I'm not mistaken, because that was the COVID lows over there. But basically the COVID, let's just take it from here. The COVID lows. Wow. It never touched it again. Never touched it again. And it got close at this low. It got close, but it didn't touch it. Okay. Then, when did it touch it? Yeah, it touched it over there. At the tippy bottom. And we got a bounce. Three-wave structure. Three-wave structure, continuation to the downside. Then when price made these lows bounce. Okay. Price made these bounce, those lows bounce. And now, so it is definitely, from an RSI perspective, it's a time to pay attention. Because, ladies and gentlemen, most often, when the low of the RSI goes below 17% or 17%, a big bounce is on the horizon. So be ready. Just having some fun, right? Let me take all the scribble here out. That is very interesting, by the way, guys. I'm not making fun of this, okay? That is very interesting. So price is in a very interesting zone that usually when this happens, based on past back testing that I've just done, it's you need to pay attention for a long, okay? Because this is where I longed. I didn't look at the RSI, but now, sorry, now that I, guys, sorry, I'm burping because of my bubbles in my water, okay? I took a long there, but now that I see this, okay, it looks interesting to look for longs if price taps this green box and this dips even a little bit further. Fear and greed goes below 10, that would be great, so I can add a little bit more to my spot bags. I have to follow my rules, but definitely an interesting zone. Guys, there's always that chance that, well, can price bounce without taking the low? Is there a chance? The bullish case scenario doesn't look great, but price can form a larger consolidation. Remember, guys, after, and I know I sound like a record, after an A, price can form a B, and it can go up for a C. So that little bad boy over there can give you nice momentum back to the upside. But Bitcoin is entering an interesting zone where I'm looking to add to my spot bags. I just can't add here because I've already added here. So for me to add, it needs to go lower. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for me to add. It has to do that. It needs to go below my lows, then I'll add. Okay, it's like adding here. I don't add there, I don't add there, I don't add there. I add below the lows, so I added there. Again, I will add below the lows, especially when fear and greed is below 10. Here, fear and greed was at 5. No one wanted to buy here. And then I remember when price made that structure, that little one. No one wanted to sell. No one wanted to short. Everyone wanted to long. Everyone wanted to long over here, and everyone wanted to short over here. So I like to trade against sentiment. And I think the sentiment is now starting to shift where people are only looking for shorts. Most people, it's getting very close, okay? No one wants to long anymore. They are tired of longing. They've lost too much money. They've bled out their accounts. Every bounce gets stopped out. you know, I like to trade against sentiment. Like, yeah, when everyone flipped bullish, I will not forget this moment. Everyone started talking bullish, green thumbnails everywhere. Every YouTube influencer, we're going up to 100,000K. Okay. When I start seeing that, I like to trade against sentiment. And now I'm starting to see sentiment shift. People are saying, calling for $40,000. People are calling for $33,000. When people start screaming lower numbers, I know maybe there's a bounce on the horizon. When people start screaming higher numbers, I know that there's a short on the horizon. So I longed over there and I shorted over there. And hopefully I'm lucky enough and in front of the charts to catch this long. But yeah, that is very interesting, the RSI. I never looked at it. Thanks for highlighting that. Ooh. Legends, remember, if you want to be part of the community, I did plan to do a private live stream inside of the community, and now I ended up just being live here on YouTube. But that is where I share all my scenarios, plans, plus more. Andy as well. We've got some coaches that do altcoin analysis. We've got some good technical analysts from an Elliott wave perspective, trend line perspective. And it's just a great place to surround yourself with like-minded people. Okay, I often jump in there almost every second day and just chat to people. I get a lot of personal messages from people as well. But if you want to be part of the community, send me the word access. There's a couple of ways in which you can get in. You can pay a monthly subscription. You can pay a once-off lifetime fee, and then you never have to worry about a payment again. Or you can sign up with one of my affiliate links down below. Deposit $500 of your own money that you trade with. I don't get that money, guys. That $500 is your money to trade with. You sign up with one of the affiliate links. Okay. You deposit $500 for you to trade with, and I will give you access to my community because you're supporting me by using the affiliate link down below. And as long as you maintain your balance and you keep active, I might extend it. Okay. I've been looking for shorts, but seeing this today is making me rethink it. I think it's always great to have an open mind. I think the best position to be in is to have a bullish and bearish mindset at all times. Just look at both sides of the token always. And that's what I do from a day trading perspective. Guys, I can wake up feeling bullish as hell. And then I go to bed at night thinking to myself, yes, I played 3 shorts today. 3 profitable shorts. There was nothing bullish about today. The only thing that was bullish is my account grew. Okay. I'm overheating a little bit over here. Just had to switch the geyser off. Yes, I had to switch the geyser off because I'm overheating. Also want to just create a little bit of an atmosphere here in my room. Change the color of the lights. Interesting volume. We'll have a look. Interesting volume. Have a look. Yeah, our volume is peaking, guys. And also, you know, regardless of RSI, also when I look at, I really don't like the stochastic RSI, guys. I actually just need to delete it off my chart. And for some reason, I don't know why I keep on leaving it here. I don't know why I leave stochastic RSI, but it was one of my first trading strategies. When I just started to learn to trade, stochastic RSI was one of the first indicators I used. Very unsuccessfully because it's so damn unreliable. If it's at the bottom, price still falls further. If it's at the top, price still goes higher. So you have to have rules built in around it. And I think maybe from a sentimental perspective, I can't let go of it, but I don't use it as part of my trading strategies. But normal RSI, just RSI by itself, is very interesting because that's where I look for divergences. Okay, what do I mean by divergences? So if I go into the 4-hour time frame, what is very interesting about the RSI with this drop is that RSI is going up. So as long as price chops the lows and RSI keeps on going up, the target is the highs. It could reverse as well and go higher, but I'm just looking at the minimum target. So usually when I see RSI divergence, okay, and I attempt longs over here, I know that that's a great profit taking area. Yes, it can go higher, definitely, just leave a runner. But it shows me that price could reverse. That is what's interesting about the RSI for me, especially when a structure is coming to an end. You can see even on the 1 hour, price took the low, but it's still making higher highs on RSI. That shows that the price could be reversing. Yes, you can still chop the lows and still make higher highs, but it shows that this is the moment where you need to pay attention. Wait, this is the moment where I need to start paying attention. Right, legends, I have unfortunately run out of time, guys. I need to go throw some weights around, climb some steps, take my dog for a walk, make some food. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. Maybe before you guys sign off, let me go through the comments one more time. I am having fun over here. Dearvald, how many lives of dark side of you had since you and now? I think I had three or four. I can't remember, but I was planning to do one today, and next week I want to do at least 3. So next week I want to do 3, the dark side of my trading. If you guys don't know what that is, you need to join the community, because that is where I trade a little, well, that is where I want to trade a little bit more aggressively. But I still find myself in situations where I practice great risk management because it's so ingrained in my brain. Okay, because if I didn't, I would have most probably burnt that entire 2-bit account that I was trading with, and I only lost $1,000. And then the next day I made 8,000 on my Bluffin account, and then I transferred some money from my Bluffin account into my 2-bit account, and now it's a little bit chunkier. But I'm really trying to be a little bit more aggressive, but I'm going to get there, guys. I'm going to get there. I want to scalp the smaller time frames. Like I said, on the 5-minute time frame, this is what I want to do inside of those live streams. If there's nothing to do and price is boring and it's ranging, I want to play these little breakouts. I want to trade these. I want to trade that. I want to trade that. I want to trade that. Okay. I want to trade even the Elliott wave scenarios. I want to trade that. Okay. The SFP basically from the low. I want to get into that trade. Now that price is moving up and it breaks down. Okay. You guys get the idea. I want to do a little bit of scalping inside of there as well. And just have some fun with the community. There was another one. Breakdown. Okay. Breakdown. Also in reverse, so you guys can see there's always so many opportunities. You just need to know how to look for them. Always a lot of opportunities. So that's what I'm planning to do inside of those, the dark side of me, and it's gonna get there. Andy also jumped in one of those. Andy will just send me a little ping and say he wants to join, so Andy jumps in there as well, and then we put 2 brains together and we look for those scalping trading opportunities together. So this week I've only had 1. I wanted to do another one today, and then I ended up staying here on the live stream, and then next week I want to do 3. So, but just for the community. Okay, you guys support me, I support you, we have fun together. I think that's only fair. Right, legends, I have now seriously run out of time. I need to go. Thank you so much for staying with me for an hour and almost 20 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes here on the live stream. Hope you have had as much fun as I did. Enjoy your weekend. Please take a break from the chart tomorrow. Whatever you do from a relaxation perspective, what you truly enjoy doing, go and do that tomorrow. Switch off your computer, delete TradingView from your phone, or leave your phone at home, even better. just switch off tomorrow. You know, I dare you. I challenge each and every single person watching this live stream not to tackle or watch the charts tomorrow. Maybe on Sunday, because that's where we start getting a little bit of volatility back into the market. Have yourselves a great weekend. Until the next one, cheers for now.